Okay, let's just get this ready to go. Make sure this is going live. Okay. Hi, guys. I know I'm a little early, but we don't have an intro screen like Michelle does on my channel. And I wanted to get one added, but we never did. So I figured we'd get started anyway. First of all, we are going to be having an interview with Carmen Miranda as well as Michelle will probably be here on occasion. So one of the things we wear the wig is because it lets me to be identified differently than both of them. So first of all, I want to thank Gitchy for the spray and the two wig brushes set here. Oh, these did work already. Unfortunately, I just dropped the stupid thing on the floor. There it is. So got the wig a little bit less snarly, and it's really hard to work around Michelle's ears, unfortunately. So we did definitely want to let everybody know that yes, we are doing an interview today with Carmen Miranda, and that's the first thing we're going to talk about. First of all, let's introduce Carmen Miranda to you. Carmen Miranda, first of all, was born on February 9th, 1909 in Portugal. She left the country of Portugal with her family at 9 months old. She moved with her parents to Rio de Janeiro. Her father was a barber. Her mother was a seamstress. She had a very interesting early years, doing some odd jobs and clothing. She would sing at her place of work in a manufacturing plant, making products. And Michelle said I could use a soundboard, so I will try to keep the soundboard to a dull roar because I don't want to mess up the recording of this. Michelle has said we have decided not to do this on Michelle's show because we want to create our own channel, our own content, and we felt that would be better if we have our own show. Of course, this is also on Kick, so that's why you see the little green K. It's because we are using the Kick step and stuff Michelle has. But first of all, I want to thank Carmen Miranda for coming. Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here. What we're going to talk about first was, you said you wanted to talk about my early years. Yeah. What made your father decide to go from Portugal to Rio de Janeiro? Was, Rio de Janeiro originally was Brazil, which is like 5 regions, but it was under the Portuguese monarchy, and so it was a territory kind of thing, a colony. And my father realized that there was not a lot of capabilities where we were to be successful. He wanted to bring money in and grow raise the family in a newer environment, and so he traveled with my mother, and a lot of other families first, they kind of went ahead first, and then I came later. So I only know the places of people in Rio de Janeiro. I really don't know Portugal. I really don't know much about my homeland where I was born. Just to know it was a small little town. It was kind of, poor, and that's all I know about it. Okay, so you went to the Saint Teresa Lasso Girls Academy, yes, which is a parochial Catholic school. You obviously were in the choir. You sang. Yes, I sang. You sang through that, and then you later on, of course, you still love singing, so you decided to take on and kept singing for fun, friends and family. And you would just like sometimes you'd sing for your coworkers at work. Yes, I did. I sang for my coworkers at work. Eventually, I got on the Brazilian radio, and I was one of the more popular female vocalists in Rio de Janeiro, and that's where I got started. My singing career was professionally was more from the radio, and so eventually you got into there was going to be like a local, kind of like a variety show kind of thing where many of the audio talents were finally able to show up on stage, came up on stage, but you didn't really have a fancy act or anything. No, not that time. No, I didn't. Okay, so where did the fruit hat come from? Because so many people don't understand this. Let's see the black women when picking fruits and vegetables would have a basket on their head. They'd keep it on the head because sometimes they would have the baby or like in a pampoosh in the back, and so they didn't really have any other place they had to use both hands for that or for managing the younger ones that were toddlers. So it was easier to have both hands free. So that's where they put the fruit on their head because it was a place to put fruit. Yeah, and then but you were watching the dancing of the samba. Yes, I watched the samba and I decided to combine that with the hat originally as a joke, but it kind of took off and the people got to know me for that. That's why if you ever see the almost all Carmen Miranda video, it's almost always with a headdress. Yes. Okay. What I want to know is, okay, so when you first came to America, you didn't know any English whatsoever. It was originally for a show called Last Tango in Paris. Yes, that was Last Tango in Paris. So Last Tango in Paris, you came to New York on Broadway. You had only 4 words, which were yes, no, hot dog, and money. Yes, that's all I knew. That's all I had any knowledge of English. Because that wasn't my language. I did not know English. Do you remember Portuguese at all now? Not really. That's the one thing, because, like, it's just like you with Finnish and Swedish. You don't remember much of it either. No, I don't. Unfortunately, you're right. But okay, let's get to that. So you were on the radio. You were then on a local production, which later, on your headdress, somebody from that brought you into Broadway. They brought you to the show because he thought you were unique. You were already kind of doing some dancing with headdress. Yes, that came later. Yes, I did. The other thing is that people did have a hard time with is, it's very heavy. We didn't have plastic fruits like you do today. It was very, very heavy. Yeah. I could suspect it would be, considering the fact that there's a lot of material and a lot of heavy materials being used to make that. Yes, indeed it was. Oh, the thing I think was the most amazing was I did not have any formal dance instruction. That's what I wanted to ask you. How did you learn to do the samba? Or is it more like, kind of like Dorothy Hamill's Camel? Kind of a uniquely Carmen Miranda-ish move. I watched a lot of it at Carnival, but I really didn't have any formal training in dance. That I did get some later on as I got older and I was in Broadway and things like that, but at the time I didn't have any skills. Just watching and observing, that's all I did. Fascinating. So you were on many, many movies in America, as well as you had movies in Brazil. There was some movies in Brazil, but we didn't do a lot. I mostly just did radio. Okay. It was when the 20th Century Fox when I really started. After my stint in Broadway, that was when I started to get into film. What did you feel being on movies? I mean, First of all, the first movies, because I did not know English at all, they the directors would say, "Oh, that Carmen say what she's gonna say," and then we have the lines. So she says what she's gonna say in her native tongue, and then we will just act as we sing in English, which is kind of stupid but then they say, well, she's Latina. No one's gonna know the damn difference. I could be saying something nasty and they would never know it. But you didn't, though. No, I didn't. Okay. Did you feel that 20th Century Fox in some way was taking advantage of you? I mean, you were paid well. I was paid well, but the hours were long and hard, and I was expected to do so much. And I was very particular, because first when I started out, my father was managing me, from Rio de Janeiro. When it was before I really got into film, my dad did it, my papa. And then I came here, and then I got another manager, which kind of took over from my father, and then my late husband took over for him too. All right, so let's fast forward a bit because we're running out of time because we really do have a tight schedule today. Thank you very much for the follow over there on Kick. We much appreciate it, really. So you actually had a great time doing that in Hollywood. What I want to know is, okay, so you worked long hours. I was also making clothing line too because of the headdress. I was making clothing line. I had my own custom made shoes. They were 4 inches tall. 4 inches. 4 inches tall. Big platform shoes. How do you think that compares to the 1970s? I'm going to ask you because we have seen a lot of drag queens do the Carmen Miranda skit. And I'm curious, what was you thinking when you after you passed away and you look down and you see all these drag queens dressing up like you on stage with the shoes, the headdress, everything? I was saying to myself, what the hell happened to me? I definitely embraced the LGBT community. I respected them. But it seemed that the majority of women were not doing any of the work I was doing afterwards. It would be, a lot of it was men in drag, as you would say. I really found it kind of fascinating how that happened. I'd love to get more into that, the LGBTQ, because that does interest me a little. Now, because before you married your late husband, you were living in other places, obviously. Yes, that house was me and his house. Okay. So that just answer that. It wasn't my house. It wasn't my hacienda. He also owned it. So it was casa, tu casa, mi casa. His casa, his casa, and my casa. So he had the mortgage on it. I didn't. So theoretically speaking, I was pretty much bringing most of the money, and he was making money as director. Okay, so that was. I've seen the house. It's pretty. It's been renovated a lot on the inside and the outside. It still looks really cute. Yes. So you can see the one picture. I think Stan CT showed me of outside my swimming pool in the back. I saw that. Michelle saw it. I was like, oh yeah, this is cute. So let's fast forward a few years now. You've done Down Argentine Way. You've done That Night in Rio. You did Greenwich Village. You did the Coca Cabana. When you played yourself and you played another woman, Mimi, a French woman. How did you manage to keep things from getting too crazy on in with the script. You're reading scripts for two characters. How do you and Michelle do it every day? It's the same deal. You put just except I'm not a two souls. I mean, it's you. You put yourself into the position of the character, and you just try to remember the lines. That's all you could do. So at that point, you knew English enough that you could do the show. And I still struggled with language, but I began to read it. Okay, so you began to read it. So basically, you were able to follow the lines with Groucho Marx. So it wasn't like you were totally like, like he was just talking, like sounding to you like, gibberish. Yes, I absolutely was getting better at it. Now, even then, and you look at the, it was actually shot in the original Copacabana in New York. Yes. You already were a regular at the Copacabana in New York, and that's how they're still on the logo today. I'm also still on the logo for the Chiquita Banana. Yeah, yes, you are. People did not know that. I actually did not know that until I found out that your trademark is still used at both the Copacabana and the Chiquita Banana. I find that fascinating. Here it was, from the 1940s, 1950s, when you died in July 9th, 1955, after the Jimmy Durante show, which I want to get to that. It's a good question because, actually, I want to get to it right now. You were working hard, you're struggling hard, meeting all these shows, and I know you're gravely concerned about Michelle. So that's the next question. What happened to you? So the spunky Aquarian little kid, brown curly hair, that was basically singing for family and friends and loving every minute of it, to the woman that in 1955, August 9th, died from not only from the complications of a pregnancy. I guess it was your second attempt. Yes. It was your second attempt. And then on top of that, you already were on these uppers and downers being prescribed by doctors to try to stabilize your depression. Let's get with the depression first. Why were you depressed? I felt I was being worked too hard. And I felt that I wasn't really being appreciated by people because I felt that people were ignoring me or thinking I was nothing more than just an actress, and that I was putting in so many hours. That's why I was so worried about Michelle. You have to think Michelle is like me. She's not going to quit. She might get mad. She might get sick. She might get tired, but she's not going to give up necessarily on what she does because she loves it. The problem is because I was so obsessed about achieving my passion of singing and dance, it did not take long for me to basically just totally overdo it. And like I told Michelle, don't burn the candle, do ends in the middle. You're gonna die soon if you don't stop. I didn't, of course, take my own advice at the time. I was too ignorant. I did just that. And doctors went, because of my depression, was like, oh, take an upper. I get prescribed uppers. Oh, take a, no, you're too hyper. No, take a downer. And then they put me on a downer. But it really wasn't dealing with the depression. You didn't go to therapy? No, actually, I didn't. I really kind of wish I had, because it was something that did exist, but for some reason, I just didn't get it. I didn't go for that option. Very fascinating. The fact is that you are now working with people that are performers, except for one person. You said he's not a performer, right? That's something I'm doing now. I'm a traveling spirit, like you said. Let's get to that in a minute. So obviously, Jimmy Durante decided he wanted to do an impromptu dance with me on stage, and I was already tired, and I fainted. He caught me. I felt really sick. I wanted to go home. I went home. I thought I'd be fine, but I was already keyed up and stressed out because all the uppers and downers and endorphins and everything else. So, I couldn't sleep, and then my heart just couldn't take it anymore, and it just quit. we know nowadays that the condition that resulted in your passing away was caused by the pregnancy upon reading the coroner's report. So, therefore, do you think if you had stayed home that night and not gone on Jimmy Durante's show, do you think you would have lived longer? No, I think I still would have died. Because the fact is, I was still overworking myself. I didn't want to say no to an interview because I felt that was how I was going to be bringing in more fame and publicity. Yeah, that sounds like Michelle. Don't give up on it. I'm not going to give up on this opportunity. I want to go do it anyway. Damn it, Lumi, it's just a few more possible subscriber count. Yes, very much the same thing. So what would you say to people like on YouTube, which is our modern day version, kind of like you were doing on the radio or when you were singing among friends and family at parties? What would you say to them? Because it's so much bigger. First of all, is I appreciate you love your passion. Your passion is important, but you must make sure to never, never, never lack sleep. Never, never give up everything. Don't give up your family. Don't give up your personal time. You need it. And if you do feel you have exceeded where you shouldn't have, get therapy, get help, get support. You do not have to do it alone. You do not do it by mistake. Please do not do it. I understand everybody wants to make money now and everybody wants to be famous, but there's the dark side of fame, which unfortunately is why as many of the best talents are dead. I mean, I found out about another person from a record Michelle played called Amy Winehouse, who had other issues with street drugs. What? Here's the similarity. She basically used those drugs to help self-medicate. And what happened was she didn't make it very long. She died young. They can always tell when the good actors, actresses, or singers, or performers are trying too hard. You can almost write it on your tombstone. I worked myself to death. Period. Okay. Now he died, obviously, and now we're going to go into from 1955, August 9th, to the present. Okay, what happened? Well, like everybody else went to the tunnel. I died at home, so now I wasn't like I was in the hospital. I died at home, and I went through the tunnel, and I was met by my family, and Jesus met me too. And then we went into this area about is the orientation, where you go talk to your spirit guides. At that time, I didn't really know much about spirit guides because I was Catholic and not the same denomination as you are. We didn't know much about this stuff like that, but I definitely was working with an angel, and the angel told me, he said, looked at my skull and said, Carmen, do you think you achieved what you wanted in this life, or did you fail? And I said, well, looking at what my life chart said, that I wanted to be, known for something good, I'd say I achieved my goal. And he said to me, well, do you think you want to go back and try it again? And I said, no, not now. I said, I need a break. That I should have taken my own advice at the time. I said, no, I'm going to take a break. I need this break. He said, fine. Well, there's no time here. There's time is infinite on the other side. You don't have to worry about that. Which Michelle has mentioned on the show too, on her show. I've watched her shows. The first thing does, so I got to meet up with all my loved ones, my family members, friends that died before me. I met them, and we talked, we congregated, and discussed things like what happened to them was kind of similar. They all went through the same orientation stage. and I saw that they were on the other side, that we have people that still do their passions. You still got dancers, you still got singers, and they're still doing their performances. But some choose to come back again for another life. Yeah, they do. They do. And so I talked to my angel, which was my spirit guide, Raphael, and I said to him, I wonder if maybe, given what all the people have been saying, if there was a way we could advocate for those on the earth somehow to help them avoid the same mistakes that we all made. And so he went ahead and he said, yes, we can do training for that. You have experience. And so therefore I started to train to be an advocate, a spiritual advocate, to work with people on earth. And at the time I was very busy. I had lots and lots of clients at the time. But as the new people came in, and people started forgetting about me, my client base shrank. I'm down to 4 people now. 2 performers, 1 man who's not so much interested in being a performer, but he does kind of want to start getting into some thing with his work. He wants to get into some performing, but not a lot, like a professional level. And then Michelle. And the Michelle was the most interesting one of all. First of all, you have, like, I remember when we read the application from Mother Asna, she said, I have this woman. She has suffered a significant damage to her left patella. Her patella is totally broken off. She doesn't have the ability to fully walk as much as she used to do anymore, but she still loves singing and she still loves dance and she still wants to do that. And I said, her spirit guide, Lumi and Finessa, had sent me this request, and I've looked for all of the possible spiritual advocates that I felt would be best qualified. And you were the best one. And it's up to you if you choose. If you choose to work with Michelle, that would be wonderful. But I don't think it's going to be very right now because she's still dealing with a lot of other emotional baggage from a failed external relationship with someone named Patty. That was very destructive, like your ex-husband was in the end. She was very manipulative, controlling, and hurtful. And so I don't think at this very minute Michelle's also just starting to walk again. But I want her to meet you. And so Michelle that's why we met this year, was when Michelle played one of my pieces, Chicka Chicka Boom Chick. It was when Michelle, it was actually important. That was almost like my intro song, Chicka Chicka Boom Chick, from a dance I did from, I believe, that night in Rio. Very, very fascinating. It was down by Argentina. Wait, which one is it? I always get confused because sometimes I use the song twice in 2 different movies. All right. So, because if you look at Chicka Chicka Boom Chick, there's actually 2 variations of the song on screen. One is where I'm with the guy in the truck, and the other one is me by myself. So that's why I said I get lost between the 2. But what's important to note is, so that's when I kind of said, hi, I was the one that Lumi requested to help you to get back on your feet again. And Michelle said, oh, well, let's find out who this Carmen Miranda is. I really don't know anything about her. So she played the video from that weekend in Havana with me doing Oh My Love and Rolla Ebola. And she said, oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love it. She said, I want to meet this person. And I said, well, I'm right there. That's me. She said, oh, wow. So that's how that got started. So what do you think is going to happen next with Michelle and me and you? And because it's confusing. You got two souls in one body. Sometimes that's one reason why you have the wig is because that way they know it's me and not Michelle, and because they can't tell that sometimes who's who. Well, I think the thing with you two is because you're married to each other and you love each other and you're spouses. I think that you two will remain together for the remainder of this lifetime. And then I asked Michelle, "Would you like to be part of my dance troupe?" Because she said she wants to go to Silver Moon. I never went to Silver Moon. I have no idea what Silver Moon's like. I said, "Would you like to dance with me?" And she said yes. And I said, "Well, I don't know what to expect because we've never been to Silver Moon. We know it exists, but we don't know anything about the culture or the people or anything. But then we'll both be coming in as little bambinas, little babies. So we're not going to be in as adults. We're going to be little babies growing up in the culture. So we'll know about it as we go, like everybody else does, one day at a time." And Mother Asna has been very, very secretive about Silver Moon. She's not really giving us any information. She's dropped a few hints here or there, but she never really said anything. So she doesn't even call it Silver Moon. But it's just kind of a key. It's kind of like a code word. It's like, oh, it's Silver Moon, which it's all we say about it. We don't know anything about it. Yeah, I don't know anything about it either because originally me and Michelle were thinking about going to the original Victorian era of Earth on a parallel planet, but we changed our mind. Why changed mine? Because I seriously, I grew up in the Victorian era on Earth, and so did Michelle, and different countries. I remember all the horrific problems of pollution and syphilis, and it was just not really the most beautiful time. Sure, it was a time of great advancements, but I just felt, and Michelle felt the same way. So Michelle and me, but independently, went to Mother Asna and said, "We're changing our life chart." Mother Asna is your spirit guide. She's both of ours. Oh, it makes sense, though. One spirit guide for two in one body. This kind of makes sense. I want to look at the questions. We get people saying hello. Oh, hi, everybody. I'm sorry I didn't read the chat, and Lumi didn't read the chat. But then again, I think it was important to not be distracted by the chat. I'm so sorry. But I would like to know is, okay, so Michelle said to you, "Hey, Lumi, we don't have to go to a place like Earth. Why are we limiting ourselves?" That pretty much what she said. Mother Asna has other planets, other universes. Michelle loves World of Warcraft. Yes, I love the game too. I just wish that I had a chance to talk to some people in just a few weeks ago, on the other side about World of Warcraft. Some of them were playing it for a long time before they passed, and I learned some tricks to help survive it. And Michelle, of course, is still learning her own way, as she does. It's the Virgo way, always thinking, like she says. Of course, we're Aquarius, as you and I are Aquarius, as we know we're the spacey ones. We're the ones who think outside the box. Yes, absolutely. I'm an early Aquarius. You're a late Aquarius. Not that late. What was it? I was born, a few months later than you? Days later than me. February 11th versus February 9th. Theoretically speaking, you're older than me. Yes. You had 4 other lives before this one beforehand. I don't really remember them, though. Oh, okay. Don't worry about it. This is my 33rd time, so don't worry about not remembering everything. It will be brought to you when you need to know it. I did know that, yes. So let's see. She wound up. Well, let me just say that Lumi is wound up because this is her second show on her channel. This is the first interviewing me and alone, and Miss Hill's not here. She's in the backstage. Oh yeah, she's always listening. That's one thing I find fun is that you guys can take turns at the microphone and not trip over each other's toes. You actually that's something that as a married couple you learn to do. You kind of have to say, hey, no, I'm not going there. Oh, I want to go there. Well, that's fine. You can go there, but I'm not going there. So you just have to learn to say, stand your ground. But the problem, like I said to Michelle, and I said to you after Silver Moon with the rap music, is you got to understand your body, the physical body is shared. And so you may have all the stamina and energy and excitement and everything, but if your body is not excited, is not energetic, is not fully rested, it's not going to come across. The audience is going to notice that. That you can say, oh, I'm all happy about this, what your body is saying. Like your side might be smiling, Michelle's side might go, Yeah, I've seen it. With the two sides of your face will go completely different. And yet, so people say, worry about stroke. That's not stroke. It's because Michelle is on the left side and Lumi is on the right side. So the two control separate muscle groups and they have to work together to everything. But the body originally was one body, one soul. And when Michelle married me, it's when it became a twofer. Yes, it's fascinating because it's the two of you have worked together for all of these years since 2011 May 1st. Beltane, you guys have been together since that time, and you obviously have been a very successful marriage. Congratulations to that. I'm very happy to know that you guys are still together. But the most important thing is to the audience. If any of you guys are therapists, or maybe you can provide some counseling for Michelle and Lumi, because just like any couple, they do struggle with time management in trying to keep things going. It's really important to get. I'm a spiritual advocate. I'm not a physical advocate. I can't do physical things, which really sucks because everything I have to tell Michelle is by visual instruction, by direct download, if you will, or by having her watch video. So I don't really have the ability to kind of usually touch her hand and go, hey, let's do this move a little bit better, a little bit slower. But I did actually get permission from Mother God to physically go to Red Orangutan, or whatever he calls himself these days, and to make my presence known to him at his home. And he got scared because he thought I was going to do something mean. I was just there to show you, Red, that I am indeed working with Michelle. And please respect this woman. She has done nothing wrong to you. She likes you, but you sometimes have a very strange attitude. I don't understand it, but, what about when you hear about people in modern Brazil call you a macaco? Personally, I don't care if they call me a macaco. I'll tell you what, the black people, the hard-working former slaves, are good people. They work hard. They still do. They raise family like we do. They do the best they can. And their culture is interesting. It's a combination of African slave and indigenous Brazilians. It's just absolutely amazing to see that. The culture is important. They were the hard workers that brought in the harvests from the farms and from the groves, and yet we tended to sometimes forget that. And they are very, very, very special, and they should be respected. I don't care where you are today; it's still true. You gotta respect all people. It's that important. A lot of them loved. I did adopt some of their routines from Carnival to TV. It certainly put Brazil in more into awareness of people today. Brazil is a modern city. Rio de Janeiro is much bigger. It certainly has its issues, but it's definitely better. What you think of the museum building that they built for your the Museo Via Carmen Miranda is it looks like a hat box. It looks like a hat box. I don't know if I would say I like it. It seems kind of like from hearing about the interview about the museum and the Museo Via Carmen Miranda is it needs to gotta watch out for flooding because the roof is made in a unique way that water can pool up, and if there's no drain, it'll just build up and could cause the roofs to collapse because it's built in a strange way. I noticed it's much shorter. Like when the curator went in, it was probably about modern height, maybe about 5'9", 5'10". They almost had to duck his head. Yes, he definitely, and it was not on steps too. So he was actually going into a low entry building. I thought that was kind of interesting. But it was found interesting too that the museum had moved multiple times. This is not the first place the museum was located. The idea was built in 1956. It didn't actually get physically built until 1957. The objects of the collection were scattered among different people. They were finally brought together under one roof. If they ever made a museum for Michelle Marie Delaney, what do you think it would look like? I would say probably like a big TV. If they architect really wanted to make Michelle a big TV with a big Virgo TV antenna on the top of it, like a big symbol of the maiden. I think I see her as a Virgo thing with Michelle. I definitely see the Virgo in Michelle. She's very Virgo-like. Absolutely. Just like Beyonce, she's passionate, she's driven, she wants to get the best. But again, like I said, that is why the body must sleep. Because Michelle could be all keyed up and all excited, but if the body isn't going working, it's not going to do any good. Likewise, if Michelle is tired, drawn out, exhausted, but the body is charged, at least she can kind of fake it. Or at least it won't be as noticeable to people. That's still interesting, though. Really. Because I think that Michelle has seen a lot in her life that's similar to your life. I do see a lot of that in her life. She's doing whatever it is, singing, dancing for fun. She loves to sing and dance for fun. I see it in Silver Moon. I know it's just a show where she sits at the record player, but she clearly is in her element though, because she's performing music, playing discs, and talking and singing and watching, make sure the stream is playing and recording. But I definitely say Michelle is definitely in her element. More and more for production. But when she was dancing with Noodles on Thanksgiving night, it was amazing because that's when she let loose and she had a good time and he had a good time. She almost fell, but she recovered very quickly. I think that was amazing. Let's talk about your past. Speaking of dance, what was it like your rehearsals? Long and tiring to get the dance right, and for the producer and the cameraman and director, they wanted certain things to be shown a certain way. The camera guy had to figure out how to best do the shot. You were insistent at being only when during your dance the camera would not take the view off of you. But during the night in that weekend in Havana when you're seeing Alice Faye, and she's sitting with Cesar Romero. The camera briefly goes over to them as they're watching you perform. Yes. There's sometimes in the story you have to allow it, but normally I wanted to have the camera always on me. That must have been a real challenge for the A and the B rolls because of them at that time it was film. Yes, there was two camera. Actually, it was more than two, but there was two, and that one focused on Cesar Romero's tableau and Alice Vay's table for that short segment of B-roll, and then there was another camera was recording me doing the whole. But it seems like when people see the movie that weekend in Havana, that looked like the dance routine was short. It was short because the fact is that it was a full movie and we didn't want to have it be a long show of me dancing. So it was because the dance Rolla Ebola, When I Love, When I Love was chosen because those two songs were festive. When I Love, I Love, you spoke that one in English. I read the words in English. Did you understand what it meant? Yes, I did. You seem to sing a lot about love and passion when you're singing in English, and even when you're singing in Portuguese. Looking at the translation for South American Way, why did you pronounce it South? Because we do have a theta sound, but it almost like the H is silent, just like in Italian. Like Michelle would understand that the H is like a guttural stop. So South, it always sounded like South American Way, and somehow it came out South American Way. If that makes any sense, because the H is silent in that language of Italian and Portuguese. So that's why it was just weird. So if Michelle was to say the word think, it comes out tink. It comes out tink. It's the same thing with Norwegian and Swedish, as you know. Yeah, and Finnish as well. Somewhat H is kind of a strange sound. Of course, we have a symbol for AE combined. Where in American English we do too, but it seems like in American English we don't have the symbol for AE, but it's in the Nordic languages and Germanic. Yeah. We don't have it really much used in Portugal either, but it does exist. All right, so let's take a quick look at the questions here. If there's anyone here standing out here, is I wonder if she rehearsed this. No, we did not. No, we did not rehearse this. This was not a rehearsal. I didn't even talk to Michelle or Lumi before, about 20 minutes before when I came in. And Lumi said, these are the questions I wanted to ask. And she said, because we have a timeline, we have a limit, we have to do this in an hour. And so I want to talk a little bit about your childhood. I want to talk about your early years. I want to talk about what it was like after you died. What's it like to work with Michelle? So we had just 20 minutes to basically say, these are the questions that Lumi said I would ask you. Boom, 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 boom. And that's why we're going through them now. But let me ask you a question then. Can I ask a question? Yeah. You two take math together. Yeah. What do you talk about in the top? Oh, just about anything. We talk about the day's events. We talk about science, technology, political news, whatever we can manage while we're washing ourselves. And say you have math this time for you guys, not necessarily for intimate, but you guys do have times when you just want to use just as a way to share the day's news, just like you do when you first wake up, and when you are, of course, are in bed together, you do the same. But then you also frolic under the sheets. Once in a while, we do. Not a regular day thing, no, but we do have our time in the sheets. Yes. It's very interesting, though. You should bring that up. Because I found when you invite me, and I was invited by you and Michelle, to be part of your frolicking in the sheets, if you will, that we decided to do the setting um simulated on poolside. We actually left Earth for a short time to astral travel, and you went to a poolside, which is similar to my poolside in Beverly Hills. Yeah, at 616 North Bedford Drive. Yeah, it was kind of similar to where we chose. Yeah. I still find it absolutely amazing that the body is shared by two is so beautiful. The fact is that you two have both he and she and the same flesh, and you manipulate the man and she manipulates the woman, and you got a chance to, through our hands, got to manipulate both. Yes, I did. I found that fascinating, honestly. But that's something that's very unusual. Spirit. Usually, there's the number of intersex is very low, and the number of intersect dual spirited people is even lower than that. There's something like what, total like 10, 12 of them now in the world right now. There's like about 10. There's some of them are children. Oh dear. Which I think it's kind of funny because this is really interesting. So, what did Red say to you when you sat on his chest? I actually didn't sit on his chest. I kind of laid on his chest. I love it. Upper body, and he was like scared. Like, who is this? Who is this? And I didn't say nothing. Like, he could smell my perfume, I think. And I didn't see nothing, but he knew it was me. And I was like, okay. But for him, it was easy. Just basically lay on his chest and then leave. And Brian K is going to be a lot harder to deal with, I think, because Brian K sits in intelligentsia. I think it's going down Brian K. I have to basically rationalize my existence. Do you really care? No, not really. That's just the thing. Well, people I need to work with that care most about me are the ones I need to work with, which is you and Michelle. I don't really think Brian K really understands, but eventually he will understand. And Red, I think that's why when Michelle started asking Red what was going on, what was going on, he was too embarrassed to say, because I think he was afraid. Like, God, what am I supposed to say, Michelle? And because everybody asks, was I wearing panties? Which is a great question, because you did not wear panties during a lot of those routines. No, because underwear back then was awful. It was so clunky and heavy, and I was concerned about image. See, you were concerned not so much that people would see your junk, but rather that your gowns and outfits would not fit right. Right. Now, I know for a fact, were definitely very conscious about your weight. Yes, I was, because I wanted to look good for camera, and that's what I did. So you didn't starve, though? You didn't do anorexia? No. We had better food back then. We didn't have this artificial processed garbage that you guys got today. We didn't have that. So it was more of making common sense decisions to eat fresh fruits and vegetables, which was the thing back then. Today, it's almost all garbage. It's all fake stuff. Did you ever use real fruit in your headdress? Yes, when I first started out and I first put on the first homemade outfit, it was made out of real fruits. Oh, really? Yes, it was real fruits at first, especially when my first debut. And from my family and friends, that was made out of real fruit from a real fruit basket. Wow. Did you ever lose any? I mean, artificial or real fruits? Yes, it's happened where things would fall out of the basket, especially with the real fruit ones. Of course, with the ones that were made out of plastic and felt, it was very easy to glue them in place because they weren't real fruit. So yes, it does happen sometimes that the pieces do break off and they have to be redone between takes. Fascinating. Thank you very much for liking the look, Honest Frank. I'm surprised you like it at all, considering if I was seeing yourself, damn, it looks fake. No, it doesn't. It's very pretty, but you know, Michelle's hair is the same as mine. It's fine hair. It doesn't grow this thick. I have girls I knew that have hair, real hair like this, that was thick, and then they complain because they say it's too thick and they can't do anything with it. Well, I can't do anything with this wig either. Understandable. You can't do anything with the wig because you're afraid to cut it because you can't grow back, right? It's like if you don't want to ruin it because it's so much a part of you, it looks so good on you. I do like it. I really do. I think it's definitely. What do you think of Michelle's blonde hair? I like the blonde hair. Oh, by the way, you look cute with Michelle's ears sticking out. What? I love the way the ears look. It's something I never talk about. Let me talk about the ears. They help Michelle hear a little bit better. Not much, but she'll take what she can get, okay? And so she realized that it was something that worked, and she liked the ears because they were cool, so she kept the ears. She could have gone with electronic hearing devices, yes, but the ears just are so much like, they're like, my futons were my trademark. Michelle's ears became her trademark. And kind of similar. Or she wanted to get some ears to see what they would look like, put them on, liked them, and left them on. You got those platform shoes. Yes, but not too many see the shoes. Because of the long gown for dancing. You're dancing in shoes. Dude, that dance is almost going to the friggin' floor. And you're sitting there. Michelle had a long dress like that, and she kept tripping in it. Yes, you gotta kick it up just right. Otherwise, you're gonna trip in your own dress, in your own train, in your dresses. Yes, you can't just. It's not for soft shoe. Don't do soft shoe with that dress. Oh no, a long dress like that. You have to know where it is because it was kind of also like the woman that played Elsa in Once Upon a Time. She chose to leave her shoes off when they were running through the forest because she said, I need to be able to feel the surface below my feet. But with those platform shoes, you're not feeling the surface below your feet. You're feeling 4 inches of leather or other material. Yes. Okay, so, but that means even more so you have to be very careful not to trip over your own train. Because you can trip and fall and get hurt. And that's another reason why I was asked to speak for Michelle. Because, not only because I have gotten hurt in dancing, not seriously badly hurt, but I have fallen a few times in takes. So, if you'll notice the way I move, it's not a really heavy moves, exaggerated moves like some of the younger girls do today. But rather it's more of a controlled kind of, as you know, the samba. Michelle probably told you some of the moves. I taught Michelle some of the basics, front move, then the back move, and you're swinging the hips, so the front, then the back, then the front, then the back. So this leg, then this leg, and then together, then this leg, and back, and then this together, and back. And then you sway in tone of the side to the music. And that's what makes it work. So, in the case of the samba with a long dress like that, you have to be able to kick your feet enough to get some wind underneath so that the dress doesn't immediately just go right against your legs, and the next thing you know, and you go boom and fall and hurt yourself. So it takes a lot of training to do that in a lot of skill. I see Michelle's kind of developed that she's already kind of does the same thing. She walks with a dress every day. So she's always kind of doing the same thing, going up the stairs, kicks one leg ahead and gets a floop underneath the dress, then goes ahead and then brings up the other foot, which she used to do when both legs would go, be like kick, 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 kick. You know, it's like kick, drag, kick, drag, kick, drag. But now she's starting to do a little bit of a kick with the other leg too, even if it's just kind of like kick, foop, drag, kick, foop, drag. She's moving up and doing better. I think it's kind of fun to think about how much you've done for Michelle on the list, and a year's time of recovery. She's definitely getting back her spunk. Yes, I am very glad to see that. That's what I was here for. That's why you asked for my mother Asna for my help, was because you didn't know anything what to do with physical injury like this. Right. I'm more of um. We're more spiritual partners in discussing spirituality and practicality in life. Thank you again very much for the don't follow up. Much appreciated. If anybody wants to donate, I can't get Michelle's Nightbot to show to donate, but if you click on the donate on the kick, you can donate through there, or you can email me at lumifinistra@gmail.com to ask for donation instructions. So we really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this show. I think it's been a very interesting show. We still got a little bit of time left. We only got about 8 minutes though. So what do you think about today's modern performers? Now, somebody asked the question, if you were born today, if you were born and you were today's musicians or dancers, first of all, which modern dancers do you like? I like Gloria Estefan. She especially when she did the conga, that was really awesome. I love the conga. It's a fun dance. It's hard to do. Her way of presenting it was definitely awesome. I think it stands out that Gloria Estefan and Miami Sound Machine really love it. I did hear about her accident, unfortunately, a couple years ago that kind of took her out of her performing arts for a while, but I know she wants to kind of make back in. She's way more talented singer than me. I'll be honest. I wasn't that as good as Gloria Estefan and Miami Sound Machine, but still she was good. So I definitely like Gloria Estefan. What do you think about Cyndi Lauper? Someone said you like a Cyndi Lauper, like from Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Oh, Cyndi Lauper is. I seen the video. Michelle showed it to me. It's definitely very, very interesting story behind the story. But this young lady that's telling her father, which is played by another man named Lou Albano, that I want to have fun. I want to hang out with the girls. I want to do good stuff. And it's just fun. It's not too serious. I definitely would say that's kind of like my music. Not too serious. Just having a little fun, dancing, kicking around. I think the direction of the movie was, the video was good. But I think Cyndi Lauper definitely would be like me. The way she sings "Oh Through the Night" and some of the other songs. Her voice is not Gloria Estefan. Her voice is kind of more like me. What do you think about Gloria Gaynor? Gloria Gaynor. Don't know much about Gloria Gaynor, except the one song that she does, which I think could almost be my theme song. I know it certainly is one of Michelle's. I Will Survive. I definitely say about the period in general, like you mentioned about the transgendered community and the drag queens doing my actions. I thought that was kind of fascinating, because I was very much actively good friends with people in the LGBTQ community back in the 1930s, 40s, and to my 50s. And did you ever sleep with any women? I have. Did you like it? Kind of. That it's not the same as with men. It's different. But it was certainly exciting for me to do that. Didn't you feel that kind of went against your Catholic beliefs? One of the things about people like Aquarius is is if we have to buck the trend, we buck the trend. I wasn't married. I didn't have to worry about adultery. The same sex stuff really was not my thing to worry about it. So you don't worry about it. No. Fascinating indeed. Well, I want to say thank you ever so much for coming up. And what do you hope to do more of with Michelle before I go? What's the next thing you want to do? I want to play more WoW. I like WoW with Michelle and you. It's fun to play the game, but I also would like people to respectfully understand I'm just a visiting spirit. I don't live with Michelle and Lumi. I just visit them. It will admit it's very hard, and Michelle has said this on her channel, when she has to channel me and give me a voice and you also have to be able to talk, and she's quietly listening in the background. That it's very emotionally draining, energy wise. And it's for this reason why Michelle can't do this every day. It would be very, very exhausting. I would be like doing 3 Carmen Mirandas in one day, and then I basically hope to God that the doctor's got enough knockout drug to knock you flat on your ass when you sleep. Because the truth is, I was so bad in the end, I couldn't sleep on my own. I had to get knockout shots to go to bed because I couldn't sleep on my own. Anesthesiologist would drop in some serious anesthetic and knock me flat on my ass. Did you ever get any REM sleep out of that? No, I got no REM. I had no REM at all. That just knocked out flat. Boom, just like that. Which you hope never happens to Michelle. It's your job as the spouse to make sure she gets a proper sleep and gets a proper meal and make sure she doesn't overdo it. Please promise me that you two will find the right amount of show time and personal time and sleep time. Okay? There's 2 souls, 1 body. So while each soul could say, I'm ready to go, oh, that means that we can do 48 hours of content in 24. No, the body can only do 24 hours, so you have to accept that. There's going to be times when things are going to have to change. Like, for example, after this, Michelle is supposed to meet with somebody, so she has to get ready to wrap up this show, as she's reminding me quietly in the background. Yeah, and I want to do more shows with you. But I also want to respectfully understand that I don't want to be there to intervene and be paid for Michelle or you, because I'm a spirit that a visiting spirit advocate. I'm not a resident here. All right, last question, and it's the last one because you got 1 minute to go. Do you and Michelle, or do you in the next life in Silver Moon plan to date Michelle? Yes. Oh, but okay, I knew that, I guess. But yes, you knew, but yet this life, I think when you saw me and Michelle during that vision, dancing to that performer singing Victoria's Red Rose for a blue lady, and you got upset because you already had just been chopped off by your husband that doesn't love you. We just simply just wanted you as a trophy wife. Was you saw that there was real passion and you got upset about it. You went in the ladies' room and cried. And of course, after the song, me and Michelle, Michelle went into the ladies' room and found out what was upset to you, and you were just so upset. And then even though you were watching your future selves, you were like, it was almost like the present Michelle was like getting a slap in the face. It was like, oh my God. She said to me Carmen, I like you a lot, but please do not interfere with me and Lumi right now in this life. We don't want that. I'm married to Lumi. I want to be loyal to Lumi. And I said, fine, that's okay. No problem. And so, in the next life, of course, you will be starting over from scratch as little bambinas. And, we'll see what happens. I think that we will be together, and Michelle and I will be friends. You'll be friends with Michelle. But I told you straight out that if you don't think your man you're gonna marry is a good man, get your life chart redone now. You got time. They haven't started the process, so this is the time to change it before it's too late. Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much everyone for watching. Thank you so much for watching today. And I will just say it's been a heck of a show. I know it's only an hour long. Yes, like she said, Michelle has another thing to do today. Before I go, we have currently existing here 12 watchers. 18 minutes and 30 seconds engagement time. Thank you ever so much, everybody. I'll see you all on Michelle's show tomorrow morning on Monday. And then, of course, tonight at 7 o'clock is Silver Moon Radio, AM 1610. Unlike Michelle, I don't have an outro song. Well, let's use his. Use hers. Yeah, why not? You can use her song, but it's not her. It's not me dancing. Oh, yeah. I get that. Yeah, okay. What about something that Brian K did that some people seem to like? Right, well, I'll run with this one, guys. See you later. Bye-bye, everybody. The following video is, I'm going to be honest when I say it before you watch this, may upset a whole bunch of you. And frankly, I'm afraid to tell you, honey, it has to happen.
What am I looking for exactly?
Take it back before she starts to blame me. Do you know the lady named Michelle Marie Delaney? She's the one that can cause a real scene. Also has the title of a motherfucking queen. Ass is acid, that's been her whole life. But when she is streaming, she is getting all the likes. She barely even tries, and she's not always nice. But I bet you a tenner that she'll show you a good time. Entertainment, that's a forte. Sitting in the snow palace, slaving all the way. In a chair covered in Rusty's hair. Picks up the phone. Connor, you're on the air. Don't expect expectations from the queen. Watch long enough and you'll know just what I mean. Not spitting out the shade or trying to throw the doubt. Just watch a little bit, tune in and figure out. But be warned, it's hard to look away. It's almost like you're trapped from the serpent with a gaze. Or maybe from some forces that's unseen. I swear to you, my friend, it's like a fever dream. And the show is just about to start. I'm saving all the clips of my favorite part. A theater for insane minds. Don't forget that she is legally blind. Give it a little bit and I'm sure that she will ban me. Then I get banned by the demon that can Lumi. Yes, you heard me right, it's the one inside the head. The one Michelle blames when the racist things are said. Please the things about the one who brought the roaches. Ed is coming back as the summertime approaches. Getting cool beers with pulling those trains. Streaming from the front porch even when it rains. At this rate, maybe Dory's coming back. Bet that she exploded and by that I mean with fat. If you think that she will be boring, then no worry about it, bruv. She's stuck up in torrent. Then funny ain't it though that she used to be your sister. Comes good and con, she is not like Krista, not even close. It's not the same thing on top of all the shit. She also was a thief. Show you know she likes the tits that are so pretty. Especially the ones that hang on Tiger Kitty. Maybe did I mean the ones that are on that girl Gitchy? I don't know, hopefully Stan don't sue me. If he does, he ain't gonna get much rand. Truth be told, I don't give a damn. He a damn good man, and he got a good plan. He the one getting Ed loaded up in the van. Guess you heard me right, other words I said. If you don't believe me, go ahead, ask Fred. He probably playing that turtle well. Go ahead, hit him up, be a real good pal. So spark it up now and let's smoke a bolt and tune into the queen with David Bordeaux. They got a good show with the chill ass flow. Hope Michelle don't kill them all with the snow. Kinda like the way that she did to Pete, but Rich, goddammit, this is good ass beat. Hope again Michelle and you can meet and watch the documentary with commentary. The phones are coming back as well as smack old cat scenes. Michelle's site finally got back on the right track. I don't know that much what the future be holding, but I can say right now that it's gonna be real golden. It's gonna be a lot better than it was, at least. Much better than it was with that fucking Rhonda Church.
I'm not much at this book stuff, let's see.